Okay, yeah, there we go. I think the audio's working now. Yeah, so I just will start with NTRA. So as you can see, the cycle is corrected here, and you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's your pullback. And as you can see, it's now gapping up. So it looks to me like that's one cycle that's finished. Now, one thing if you notice, you see how the divergence is not there. So that's a warning sign that the structure of this wave may still be 3 waves, even though we do have a cycle here. So it's in a middle area that I don't particularly like to trade. Let's go to a lower time frame. And even on the lower time frame, you don't have divergence. So chances are this is not a 5-wave move. So I'll take that back. And we're looking at something now in 3, a connector, and this is 3 here. It's just really an ugly setup. Actually, probably it's a corrective pattern that looks something like this. So my guess is this is going to continue lower and this rally will fail. So I think I'm giving you like my kind of thinking on this. This looks like a corrective rally for this move, and this seems likely to fail. Now, if you could take out this high with divergence, then it would set up a different count. And there's probably too many possibilities. I would just really stay away from it. But I do think it seems like to me it's this was a corrective move to correct that cycle, and now you're susceptible to another leg lower in this stock where you can come back down to these lower levels down here. Come back down or even lower. You could even come back down. So I would be really careful in it. This is, could look like something like that. So just I don't like this for bullish setup. All right, now we're back. Yeah, Wolf and Unity. So Wolf is been one that I was waiting for a pullback on to get back in. I posted Wolf a while ago on my Twitter when it was down in this area, and also on my live stream here. So I gave everyone this this setup right here when we were at 40, and this was before all the Nvidia hype and all that shit that came out. And then it started to hype, and then the rest is history. And so I want to get back in on it after taking profit. So this looks like a good setup to get back in. So let's take a look at the RSI. So the 4-hour RSI is pretty much reset. You have divergence at the top, as you can see. You have the full cycle corrected. As you can see, there's no divergence at the bottom. It's a perfect setup. So it looks again too good to be true. The daily confirms it. So it just is like a really good setup here. And again, I don't know if news is about to drop. It looks like they've got earnings coming up on Wednesday. Wouldn't be surprised to see this explode out on earnings in a wave 3. But do what's best for you. I can be wrong, and maybe they'll, maybe this will keep going lower. But for now, this is what I'm looking at. The setup, you have a catalyst. It looks like you need more upside into this area. So that's what I look at Wolf a little bit deeper. Now Unity is a little different. Let's see here. Unity, if you look at the 3-wave pullback, this leg is kind of getting a little extended. I don't usually like that. When this leg gets too extended, typically this bounce will fail for another swing lower. So that's just something to keep in mind. We also have only 3, and you don't have necessarily a clean 5-wave move off the bottom. Now, from a RSI standpoint, if you look at this leg, it's clearly impulsive. Here's your peak RSI with a divergence, so you have a 5-wave move up. And then down here, you have RSI reset, cycle reset. The 4-hour is as oversold as it was here at its prior low. So it looks like, again, a really good opportunity on the daily as well, almost completely reset. So it's like, again, it seems like a really good setup here for a potential wave 3, and you're like, what's its catalyst? I don't really know what it could be, but we'll have to just wait and see. Maybe some news is going to drop soon to get this thing moving again. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, so let's take a look at, let's see, the other one that you had is, let's take a look, INOD. And for those of you that are on, if you don't want me to go right to your question, if you give me a super chat, I will go right to your question over the list. And then I usually stay on for an hour. And if I don't get to yours, just gotta, try again next time. INOD. Let's take a look. INOD. All right, that one looks pretty good. We need to go higher time frame. So, yeah, big picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Right? And then, of course, you broke the high here. So you have another 1, 2. And now you're in the 3 of 3, right? So now the question is, where should it go? So it could see 1994 to finish that move. So it probably has still more upside to go. In here, it looks like 1, 2, 3, and maybe we're in a 4. Let's see. So as you see this wave 3, the RSI in the wave 3 never took out the wave 1. So therefore, it's still not in wave 3. It's a 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's a 1, 2, and another 1, 2 setup. And that looks corrective, so something like that. Maybe a running flat. Maybe one is, yeah, something like that. So it looks really bullish. We haven't seen the extension in 3 yet, the real easy money. So it looks pretty good for more upside here, and of course it's coming out here. So this should pull back like that. So what does this company do? This is pretty bullish. It's an AI company, artificial intelligence. Okay, so seems like more upside's coming. I could see it, 20s, 30s, but you can do what's best for you. Okay, P, thanks for the super chat. Let me see what you put on here for me on COCO. Okay, let's take a look at COCO. Okay, we have that on here. Let's take a look. Yeah, I have this on my watch list. So we're looking for that pullback. We got it, and now it bounced. So it's either finished here and it truncated. And if you look, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it really looks like it's bottomed here. So it's really like it didn't really get to the buy area, but we did get this massive pullback. But people are just so eager to buy the dip on it. But let's look for divergence. And see, this is always the secret. This is a tell here. You see there's no divergence here. So this could still be a corrective bounce, even though it looks like a 5-wave move. It probably isn't. Yeah, so I'd be careful in it still. So it's really a tough thing to trade. I would still like it down at 21 and 18, and what you may be in right now is a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, something like that. Let's look at some of the RSIs and take a deeper look. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if that weekly cycle will come back and bounce on that RSI line. Let's see here. Oops. And yeah, I just don't like. So I think it could be a trap for bulls again here. You know, you really need to see it take out 27 to call this correction over. But I think it's some kind of trap here for bulls, because it never really got. It really needs to get a little bit more deeper here. We saw that with like AEHR, right? Back down when it did its rug pull in a similar rug pull here, right? It just needs to come deeper, deeper down, I think. So I'm looking at it. I know the market's got more selling to do. So let me see again. Let me see what sector this thing is in. Okay, yes, consumer, like discretionary, like, yeah. If there was RSI divergence here, I would say the low is in. But because it isn't, I would be really cautious, and it looks like, you know, it's already starting wave 3 lower. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. All right, do what's best for you. Thanks for the super chat. Mandeep, thanks again for the super chat. Yeah, Neo. I was looking at Neo. Whether we'll get another opportunity to add more at 7 or lower, or is for done 4. Neo's heading high. Please check out Coin. Okay, so Neo, I was looking at the other day, and this has been following our chart like perfectly, without any really. It's been perfect. So this is where I've got the Neo here, like this. And now we're pulling back in 4, and really this 4, you know, the question is this a 4, or is this potentially 1 2? Like, what is this? I think it's still a 4. It needs to bounce with the counter trend rally in the market that I think is coming. You see, I have this divergence, so it's probably some kind of flat here, and an A, B, C. So let's take a look. If it's a flat like pattern, well, actually, let's go to the higher time frame first. Yeah, so if you look, it's correcting the whole move, this whole cycle. So I'm going to relabel it a little differently. And this is why Elliott waves isn't like that precise of a system, but you could, I think we could go ahead and label something like, you know, what we'll do is we'll go into a shorter time frame to see the swings. But what it looks like to me is you probably have a 3 and a 4 here, a 5 here, a 3 here, a 4 here, and we end at 5. So it looks like to me the first impulse off the low is over in 1, and now we're in 2. So the general rule for wave 2s is it typically goes back to the wave 4 clusters, which it is right now. And again, you want to see the RSI reset on the 4-hour and daily. It looks like it can push further down here and further down. So my guess is it's got a bounce and a failure to come in an ABC. So it's 5 waves down. It should be bouncing and it should fail. Is my thinking right now. Neo, I do think it's due for a bounce at any moment. Like Apple, it almost is like Apple, right? 5 waves down here, and then it should bounce. It should bounce. If not, then this is the connector. So here's the worst case. This is like the crash correction scenario. If that's the connector, then I'll give you the target entry. This would probably be the most bearish outcome, and that would get you all the way back to retest the lows, like you said, $7. Is it possible? Anything's possible, but is it likely? Highly unlikely. But we can keep that in the back of our mind that it could do that, but it's very unlikely. You'll get some kind of bounce probably, and then another low later, and we'll have to, figure out where it is after the fact. It would be surprising if that's the low because of the divergence and that I'm seeing here. So that's what I look at in Neo. Let's look at some other RSIs just to see if there's anything anything interesting. Here's something interesting. You had this like left shoulder ahead, and it just kind of got ahead of itself. You never really got that right shoulder. I think this will form that right shoulder that's missing. If that's the case, you could see it come back to $8, $9 at some point. So yeah, Neo's in a correction. It's in a correction. This cycle is over. It's correcting. But just like I've said before, since we have 5 waves up, it should give you another 5 waves up. Even if it's going to go to 0, right? It should give you an A, a B, and a C. And then if it wants to go to 0, it can go to 0. If it wants to continue higher, it will 4 and 5 out. So that's why the market, I think, is not ready to crash. I think, because there's a lot of stocks like this off the lows that are 5 that need another swing higher now, and this is one. So this should swing up in 3 at some point in the future, and then after that we'll see what happens to it. But that's what I'm looking at for that. Now Coinbase. So Coinbase, as you know, had a massive correction in a triple, and now it came off the bottom. And here you could see you have your 3 waves. So theoretically, it could come back and break 31, right? It could do that, right? Because you have all this is a corrective bounce. You really need this to come out and take this high out. And if you look at this pattern again, you have a left shoulder ahead, and now you're forming the right shoulder. If you look, the right shoulder could come down to 57. So I think there could be a lot more downside in Coinbase potentially coming. Most likely, this weekly cycle is going to break here and then correct. But again, if you look at the weekly cycle, it's a very 3 waves. It's a very dangerous structure. It's definitely, I wouldn't be interested in buying it at this point. But if I'm trying to label it, it would be like a 1, 2, and a 1, 2, something like that. A 1, 2, 1, 2. It'd have to be, because if you label that 3, then and it comes down, it will just be corrective. Then it should break this low, and that will be all over. So I never liked this structure to begin with, which is why I'm not in Coinbase. I don't trade it because I just don't like how this looked, and I didn't like how MicroStrategy looked either. The miners are a better play for crypto, in my opinion. The miners, if you want to play, but this is a dangerous chart, because I could show this easily as a corrective bounce, and we're going to go to new lows. So you got to be really careful in Coinbase, guys. Again, there could be company-specific news that we don't know about that will drop. I know isn't the SEC after them, right? Maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll have to close down shop for all their coins that they trade. I don't know the fundamental reason why this would drop and break 31, but this is a dangerous looking setup here, especially with where the weekly RSI is heading, especially if it breaks, and I think it's going to. So that's my top. That's my thinking on Coinbase. I think it has danger. There's something more sinister on the horizon for this company. Whether crypto's gonna moon or not, something's gonna go wrong here. And it's either gonna drop to 55 down in this area, or it's going to new lows. That's how I look at the chart. Okay, thanks for the super chat. All right, so we'll go back, and like I said, if you want to get your question answered, you don't want to wait, you can go to super chat. I'll be on for like an hour, and then I'm off. So I think we left at ACHR. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have that. Archer Aviation. All right. Again, a really ugly chart. Looks like a nice 5-wave move down. So I would say it's in a bearish decline, right? And this is just some kind of counter trend rally off of that low. So here you have that divergence. So that's interesting. That could be a 5-wave move off the low. Here you don't have it. Let's take another look at what we've got going on here. Yeah, I think yeah, this is it looks like it's trying to impulse off the bottom. So it wants this 5th wave. So you need this 5th wave. If you don't get it, then like I go back and it's just a corrective structure, an A, B, C. And then it's going to go, it's going to, you know, reverse split and go to zero chart. So it looked like it really struggled here. Now it's still in this 4-wave. If you look at this cycle, look how long 2 took. So more than likely it's still in 4. And it needs more downside to finish 4 before it could bounce. It could see this gap fill here and then hit 480. So I'd be looking for it to come down to this area, and then if it's bullish, you'll get wave 5, and then if it's going to be you know, a go to zero chart, you should blow through $4 and just go to new lows. So it's I just don't know. But if you look at where it's come from, chances are this won't happen. This isn't going to happen. So, you know, it's a real big gamble to buy long here for this 5th wave. But this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at something like that. And then another pullback. So a lot of sideways price action here, right? All right. Thanks again. Yeah, and I'll add Neo. I'll talk more about Neo. All right. So going to Boyle. Yeah, Boyle's been moving higher. So we've been, you know, mentioning that it had a 5 swing series that needed another 5 higher, and it looks like it happened here. You could see that it broke that high. Look at this consolidation. It just seems like it's heading to $100. It just seems like that's where it wants to go. You would have to call this 2 in here. Done. So it never got to this like this capitulation area. So it is pretty bullish because it was truncated here. It really definitely faked some people out. And this is something the GDX could be doing to people in gold and silver. It may break the low, but not get the dump, and then everybody panics. So you gotta, if you really look at this, you had to have just like strong hands. But here it looks like it's now pulling back in this 2, and we should come out. So it looks like something like that is happening, and this looks like 5 waves down, so it looks like to me the 2 should extend lower more. Something like that. But this looks like 5 down. So I'm looking for something like this. I want to see, you really want this low at 53 has to hold. It has to hold. So if you can get this too, this would be good. I would be surprised if that 2 is done. I think it's going to do something like that. Okay, thanks Vancouver for the 5. NTR, let's take a look at that. We'll take a look if we, I think we've charted this at one point. Let's take a look. Yeah, let's clean this up a little bit here. So we had this move. We did get this pullback. We're still not near the 38 area, but we need to take a look. We may have a new connector now. So let's take a look at the RSI. And as you can see, there's your new connector. Now look, here you have this capitulation and this low. So it looks like this is a swing low here. Let's look at yeah, see, it just didn't quite well, actually looking at it again, it looks like it did hit here. So there we go. So I'm not sure where that 30 came in, but if you look, there's the low. So this is a great bottom here at NTR, and it looks like it just finished 5 up. And I can't quite tell if that made a new high or not. Yeah, I mean, well, we don't have the problem with TradingView is you don't get all the price action. So you have to assume that this made a new high. Maybe after hours you have the divergence, and you still even have divergence here. So in the absence of the data, it seems to me that the impulse is over either here or here. But regardless, we should see more downside as it retraces. This I would expect this channel to break, and then find a low in 2. This looks like 3. So it could come back down to 62 and 60. You see there's no divergence there. Yeah, so I think this is 3 up, and then that should also support the fact that we need a flat to come down like this. So this is what I'd be looking for, something like that. And this cycle, this is a major low right here. Thanks for the super chat. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. SAS, Swedish ticker. All right. Yeah, that's not going to help. So it's obviously it's it's a really bearish stock. Like, so the trend is obviously lower. So the question is it ready for a counter trend rally? So you do have some bullish divergence here on the weekly. Here's your RSI peak. There. So we have to use this one. So I'll keep an eye on this. When you see this downtrend break, then it's due a pump, a counter trend rally for this cycle that I have shown here. So as you can see, that's kind of the wave 3 low here on the impulse down. So this is some kind of 1-2. You may even see a little more upside in 4, but it seems likely that it will fail. So when I'm looking at the weekly RSI, what I think is going to play out here is another rejection on this trend line. My guess is the RSI will come up to this trend line to allow 4 to extend a little higher and then get rejected. The price will make a lower price. The RSI will not, and you'll get bullish divergence on the weekly RSI, and then that will be your opportunity for long for massive gains. But I do think this looks like it needs a little more upside in 4, and it looks like this is just some consolidation in a connector wave in 4. Let's take a look on the daily and see if we can figure it out. Yeah. So this is the low. So what I think is going to happen is that like that. Where's a potential short entry? Now, short in here is risky because you are short in a wave 5. So there's always a chance that I could be wrong. So I'm not saying this is a good short, but if you're, if you like to be aggressive, this is a possible short area right here at 59 cents. So you could see this push up to 59 and then get rejected back down to this area for the final low for probably like a 10 bagger pump out of this. But then it'll be correcting the whole thing, and it should at least come back up here. So that's at least 6 times gains, but it could even go to the next consolidation area, where was that at? Here, $2 even. Like you could get something like that, like a wick like that. So I would just say that's how I look at this right now. If I was trading this penny stock, I guess. But do what's best for you. They're always high risk, but I think this is what I'm looking for, something like that. And we'll see what happens. Good luck on that. Okay, let's take a look at our next question. MBLY. Mobileye. I've heard of them. I know there's a lot of fans. Okay, so not a lot of chart data, but I mean it looks like a 3 swing move. 1, 2. I mean this looks only like 3 swings up, 3 down. So you have to force the 5 swing. You do have divergence, so I think it's okay to do that here. You'd have to do something like this, and then you'd have You know, it's just something like that. So there's no divergence there. You have just a little bit of divergence at that peak. Again, uh, it's not the best looking chart, but I do like the correction. So anytime I see a the lead in diagonal like this, overlapping waves in wave one, typically the correction goes between the 2 and 4, and that's where it did. It's almost a given rule. You see this so much in crypto. So if you ever see a wave one where the 1, 3, 4, where these overlap, usually the corrective cycle ends between the 2 and the 4, about halfway, and that's what happened. So I do think that's kind of the label I would go with here. Another 1, 2. And again, you have divergence here. All right, so this is bullish, right? It's about to have a wave 3 moment. Look at that. Left shoulder, head, and it looks like this right shoulder should be finished. Again, it's probably, there's a catalyst out there that no one knows about, and this thing should be ready for liftoff. So I like it. I like it here, definitely against 35, and it could be ready to roll. So this one's a good one. Again, like I said, I don't really follow it, but this looks really, really nice. This chart pattern, this could be a 3 of 3, good breakout investment type opportunity. So we'll add that to my watch list. I'll keep an eye on it. And let's see, what do they specifically do? Driver assistance systems, autonomous driving. Well, yeah, that looks like that's probably the future, right? That's probably something that's going to grow. So yeah, I mean, I could see why it's being supported here. Good luck with that. All right, let's take a look. SOFI. Okay, let's take a look at SOFI. I think we have that on our list here. All right, so SOFI we had in the 1-2-1-2 setup. We were looking for wave 3. Now, this never got to the area we were looking for. You can see here it found support at this 2, and you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another corrective cycle. So let's take a look. So I would change the labeling. I bet there's divergence, and there it is. Okay, so it's a different label than what I had. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're pulling back, and it should hit again, probably somewhere in this wave 4 area. So it looks like it has like a more straight down crash correction taking place. We know the Russell is bearish, right? There's no divergence at that low. My guess is it due for a bounce like the rest of the market, but that bounce is going to fail and go lower, and then it will represent another opportunity to go long. The other thing to keep in mind, we had this full corrective cycle. You have 5 up. There's a chance it could even be done here. So there's no guarantee that it will rise. So if we keep continuing lower, I'd be really nervous that we're actually in the Y leg here. So I think the bull market and whatever this was doing is over for a while. I think I think it's in it either could be in this more catastrophic decline, or it's going to be in this bounce and decline and go higher, and then this will come later. The reason I think it's going to new lows is here. You made a lower low. once this low was taken out, technically this structure's no good, and it probably will go to a new low at some point. So even though I know it's exciting stock for a lot of social media traders, it's kind of got a really bad chart. But do what's best for you. I could be wrong, but if I was trading it, um, I'd be looking for more downside here, and then you either could get a bounce out of this, but if it continues lower, then I would just say, X is in, and it should rally to new lows. It should come all the way down, bounce, and come down like that, something like that. So we'll see what happens on it. Don't know yet. It's tough. This one's a tough one to interpret. All right, let's take a look. GTLS. And like I said, I stay on for 1 hour. If you want to get your question answered, I'll super chat. I go right to your question. And that's kind of how I've done this chat for the last year I've been doing this channel. All right, so here, like SOFI, you made the lower low sequence, so chances are this is going to fail for another push lower, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, if I look at this, let's go to the monthly. I think the ground super cycle in this is over. So yeah, I think it's something like this, and now it should have a decline like that. That's what I'm looking for, something like that. And that would get you the 47. So not sure what it does, why it's so bearish now. But this is very corrective looking. Now there is a chance we could still be in B. Right? So there's still but I think this is whatever this is, I think it's going to fail and go lower. I don't like how it bottomed here, and also I think it's at the top of a grand supercycle peak. And as you know, in the grand supercycle wave twos, you're never guaranteed wave three. It could even go to zero. Grand supercycles, when they end, when the whole cycle from the IPO ends, there's never a guarantee that it will ever go back to the prior top. And you could ask, a lot of stocks that over the years have never come close to their peak. I think was it Intel is one example, and some stocks never make it back up there. So you just never know how low it can go. But if it can turn around, this is probably the area to do that. Is what I'm thinking, something like that. And there's your kind of like your head and shoulders top, and this is your right shoulder forming right here. All right, let's see what we have here. AAOI. So you see there's your wave 3 right there. There's your wave 2. So you already finished the first cycle here. And now you're in a new cycle. So it's very bullish. So it could be a couple things. I don't think it's a wave 3 because you need to erase that divergence uh, here even. My guess is it continues higher, something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure why everyone's getting so excited about it, but it's definitely gonna find some resistance right here at 15. Yeah, maybe a safer count, a less aggressive count is something like this. Because there's a lot of resistance there. So I would think the pullback should be pretty deep. So I'd probably go with something like this for now. And that looks done. So usually it will correct back to the wave 4 low. So this has got some pretty significant selling yet to come. Some kind of corrective move like that. So that's probably where it's going, and then it will have enough energy to come out of the resistance here once this is consolidates more. So there you go. Let's take a look. Okay, cryptos. All right, let's go to cryptos. I don't think I have these two. I don't think we've ever done those two. And I'll just use, the exchange. We'll go with this one. What the hell? And then the other one is BLZ. Okay. So it's 3 a connector and 3 down. So you're building off of this low here. All right, so you do have 5 up. Here it's hard to see it, but it looks like you do. Right there is your 5th wave. So it looks like that low is in. Here, that's the low. And now you're in bear market again. The question is that finished or not? We'll have to look at this and see if it's impulsive or not. You see there's no R side divergence, so chances are it's not done its correction yet. So it's probably going to break this low here further. So this is some kind of a connector. So I would be looking for a low at right here, 0.007512. So I think there'll be a dump at some point down to this area, and then that should be your opportunity to go long again. And more than likely this low will be supported here, which is what you want to see. So something like that is what I'd be looking for. Do what's best for you, but that's how I look at that. And then BLZ. Not a lot of chart data. There's probably not enough chart information to do an accurate prediction. This is an impulse, so this looks like some kind of flat correction, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's really ugly. I think it's still got more downside, but let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think it's got more downside. I think I would like it at 0.0285 here in this little box here. Uh, it looks like it's still got more downside to go, and this looks like a 1 2 1 2 3 4 1. So it's got more swings lower. So it's not done yet. I do think it's got more downside. All right, let's keep going. Again, I've got about 7 more minutes, and then I'm out of here. So if you want your question answered, just super chat or let me know. Let's take a look. So Don, I'm going to skip over some of your questions just because I want to get some other people opportunity. So I'm going to skip through some comments. AI is going up. Yeah, just real quick for AI. AI is I have my eye on it, and its box is at 27.39. So I do think it's a buy opportunity, but it's just not quite done yet here. So there you go. That's AI. Remember, I called the low at 16. If you go back on my videos, I told you guys to buy it here. No one wanted to buy it. And I gave you guys 16 in the flat and literally to the penny, and look what happened. So here I'm telling you guys 27.39. Once we get there, guess what? More upside should happen because you have 5 off the low. Again, indicating the market still has more upside to come, right? Because you have 5 off the low here. So I just want to show AI. I don't have PayPal's chart, so I'm skipping that. BBAI is probably about to stop out and have a broken chart. Yeah, that's why I say sometimes things don't work out, so you have to use stop loss. But I was looking at it. It's still in the buy area, and it didn't break the low. So technically, there is still a chance and hope in that this is done. I mean, it would be crazy, but this is still valid, and as long as that low holds here at 152, then there's a chance it's like it's done here, because this is the buy area, and it looks like it wants to come out of it. I did do Boyle if you want to look at that earlier. If platinum's like silver and gold, it probably has some more downside because of the dollar now. It should be going higher. Let's look at it though. Because I'm more curious myself at platinum to see. Let me see if I have. Where did I have that? I think I have it here in my metals. Yeah, it look so. This, you have your 3 waves, and here you had 3, and now you came down and you broke this low. So chances are you're going to break that low, and if you break that low, then it should start a selling cascade down to 600 for the final low. So let me also say though, like I mentioned earlier, this could be a fake out, poker type fake out where it drops it to stop people out here. The run stops and then run higher, even if the dollar is going to go up. So because this is so oversold, it's been correcting since February 21. It's due, and really it's been correcting sideways for like years. So there's not many more sellers left that's going to push this price down that low. So even though my chart says this is what the metal should do, I wouldn't be surprised if it gives everyone the middle finger and it goes something like 1 in a flat and comes out. Because if this is a flat here like I have here, then we are probably right at the bottom for a major turning point coming, which only really gives you to 850, like a little bit more downside here. So this move here is very likely, and it's more about treating the market as poker than chess, which is why I am still long silver and the metals, despite the chart setup, because I just think this is where if I was a market maker or a whale, how I would want to destroy bulls is to run these stops and scare people, and then rip this thing higher. So this is probably where platinum's going, and gold and silver, the same analog here. Maybe a little more downside, and then a big move higher coming. mRNA, I'm thinking at $80, $90, something like that. And yeah, I'll click on mRNA real quick, just so because I'm curious too about mRNA. So I gave you the short at will video up here, and now we're down there. Well, we got our first 4, so that's good. But unfortunately, we have a lot more 4s to go, so it's still in a downtrend. This is the area I like it. But looking at the swings, it can go even lower. But I do think this is where it has the best chance of a bounce, and I do believe it will be choppy here on out as these 4s and 5s play out. But it looks like the easy money on the short side's over now. So that was the area to short it, and now it's going to be choppy. All right, I'm just kind of scanning through the comments. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Does the VIX follow the LE weight? I think some people think the VIX you can't chart the VIX. I do. I think you can chart it. I think the VIX moves in the direction of the trend. So the VIX naturally likes to go lower. So typically it moves in corrective sequences higher, and then it ends. Then the move ends because it wants to always move lower. So I always say it tends to move in an impulse down and counter trend in 3 because naturally the VIX wants to always go low. I mean, when I look at the VIX right now, it's in one of those bounces, right? It's in a 3-leg bounce, right? I have here A, B, C, and then it's over. So that's how typically the VIX moves. I mean, again, and then it's over, and then it will start a whole new impulse cycle. It could even break 12 and go to new low. Who knows? But then again, why could go much higher like that? So that's why you don't want to be on the wrong side of it, because this next push up, we don't know where this will stop. I mean, no one knows for sure. But since we have, again, kind of like a 5-wave move off the low, it does seem likely that we have another push higher in the VIX coming to finish the sequence. The question is how high is it going to go? But I do try to chart it a little bit. I don't trade it though. I don't trade the VIX like some people do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Again, I appreciate it. Thanks again. And yeah, if you didn't get your question answered, super chat, I'll go ahead and do that. And maybe I'll do another live stream tomorrow. I do think the market overall is due for a bounce, and then that bounce more than likely will fail. However, some individual stocks may rally significantly in that bounce, and when the market pulls back, they will not break the low. So that's why I want to do some buy-in on Friday. That's why I did some buy-in on Friday, because there are some